Hey everyone, it's the Eclectic Candyman. Today looking at 3 Craftsman made in the USA new older stock half-inch regular depth sockets that are 6-point that I never picked up. Let's take a look at them. Alright, so these 3 new older stock sockets that I picked up are the 20, 21, and 22 millimeter metric regular depth 6-point sockets. And so what ended up happening is a lot of the sets that you would get back in the day really focus heavily on the 12-point sockets in the half-inch regular depth. And then if you went to 6-point sockets, oftentimes there were skips. So let's take a look at an old Craftsman catalog once again. And this catalog is from 2005. And let's just take a look at a few random sets. So we got 189 piece here. And when you look at the half inch, it had 12-point metric sockets, but no 6-point. And moving right along, we have another set over here that has, once again, 12-point, but no 6-point. So if you go to the sets that did focus on 6-point sockets, you may or may have not gotten these. For example, if we go down to the half inch, take a look here at the 6-point standard. You got 9 through 15, 17 through 19, and then 22. I did find that the 22 millimeter was probably the most common of these 3 that I had. But right here, you notice there's no 20 and 21, so there's a skip. Once again, in this 154 piece set, we've got the 9 through 15 and 17 through 19. This is probably more like what I would have got because I did have some 6-point. And then, ironically, the smallest set of them all right here has the 6-point metric 9 through 22 with no skips. The other way you could have gotten these sockets was to get them as open stock items at Sears back in the day. And you can see right here, again, I'm not sure how I overlooked these, but sure enough, I did. The 20 millimeter. So you've got 44274, then 44278, and then 44265. They were about $5 thereabouts back when you could get these at the store. So I didn't even know that these 3 sockets right here existed. I had completely overlooked them and was able to track them down. Let's look at them a little more closely. All right, and as mentioned, I did have to get a larger set in order to get the ones that I wanted. This is just the way it goes when you're trying to track down missing pieces. You're not always able to cherry pick and get the exact ones that you want. Let's take a look at each of the 3 of these, starting with the 20 millimeter Craftsman made in the USA. Now, somebody left a comment on one of my old videos. I always call this the series code, so it's a G series code. It's actually a manufacturer code, so these letters identify the manufacturer that made the hand tools for Sears Craftsman because they were not making them themselves. That could have been Danaher or Western Forge, Apex, depending on what the year was. But I use those terms interchangeably, so this is a G series or G manufacturer code. And the part number is 44274, just immaculate, brand new. Next up, the 21 millimeter, same thing, Craftsman made in the USA. Another G series, 44278, fantastic 6-point here, looking great. And last but not least, again, maybe the slightly more common 22 millimeter. This one shows up a little more often, so if you two need these 3 sockets, you'll probably find the 22 a bit more often. Craftsman made in the USA, G series 44265 6-point. So if you're looking in your toolbox and you say, well, I have a bunch of those, you probably have the 12-point in this half-inch versus the 6-point, but maybe you did get one of the more extensive sets or specifically got a 6-point set, and it did include some of these. So let's go do the fun part and stick them in the old toolbox. All right, let's open up the old half-inch drawer here and take a look. And as you'll notice, the 6-point sockets from Craftsman were not as extensive as the 12-point line that went from, looking at the larger sockets, from 20 millimeter all the way up to 36 millimeter. But my 6-point socket set ended at 19 millimeter, but not anymore. We've got the 3 right here that we talked about today. So we've got the 20 millimeter. We've got the 21 millimeter, and we've got the 22 millimeter. Excellent. I don't get to do that so much anymore, getting to fill in these spots with real Craftsman made in the USA sockets, because as I said, I'm pretty sure I've gotten them all at this point, but let me know if there's some rare birds out there, 23, 24 and larger in the 6 point, all the way up to 36. I have never seen those, have not seen them in a catalog, but as we've seen on this channel, on occasion and later in the timeline for Craftsman Made in the USA, they were exclusively making sockets to fill these trays for display purposes. I'll leave a link up here to a rare socket that I got in the 3/8 inch where that was exactly the story behind it. But nonetheless, happy to get these three. Continuing to build out my Craftsman Made in the USA set. If you enjoyed this video and ones like it, I have a lot more here on the channel. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Check out some of those videos. Again, hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, this is the Eclectic Candyman. We'll see you later.